What is one of the worst things we can experience on our fitness journey and as a lifter? The dreaded plateau, being stuck at the same weight in the gym, failing on the same, rep number every single time, being stuck at the same body weight or body composition, muscle groups that just don't seem to grow. This may be the sign of a plateau. Or we might just need more time to adapt, or a better program that fits us better. Or, we may need to just put more intensity into a certain area of our life to get off of this number, whatever it is, whether it be, weight on the bar, reps, body weight, muscle size, whatever it is. So that's what we're going to go over in today's episode, is how to determine if you are truly in a plateau and what to do about it. Thank you for tuning in to the Lifting Cues podcast, the podcast for lifters. And today's cue, like I said, is plateaus. What are they? When are we truly plateaued? And what are the steps we need to take to change it? I'm Coach Quinn, aka Coach Q, online and in-person fitness coach specializing in curating training and nutrition plans for strength and physique development. I've been a lifter for over half of my life, and now in my 30s, am on the journey of becoming a competitive powerlifter. I'm going to take all of that experience along with, real world people and real world results coaching and give you the best lifting cues to help you reach your goals. So when we're talking about plateaus, the first thing that we need to understand is, what is a plateau? A plateau is 4 to 6 weeks of consistency in the same routine that was previously making progress, which has now stalled. So the time frame here is very important. Notice I said 4 to 6 weeks with no more progress. So we need to be in a program for that long and for things to not move before we have reached a plateau. People want to, make huge gains in the gym after maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. They're not seeing results. They're like, hey, we need to change the workouts. I need to change my diet. My macros need to change, whatever it might be. That's not long enough. Our body can take some time to adapt, especially as we continue to adapt. As you continue to lose weight, your body may need more time to get off of, settling points, or to adapt metabolically, to adapt to, the diet that it's doing. Your body gets more and more comfortable where it is, homeostasis is a real thing. Your body is always trying to come back to one homeostatic, form. So it may take more time to adapt, especially as you continue to adapt. So that's why this time frame is important. You need to make sure that you are truly stalled, and you don't just need more time. Also, the same routine that was producing results. So you have seen a result with this routine, whether it be the training program or the diet, so that you know for a fact that this did actually work. It's not just the wrong program or the wrong diet. You're not eating the wrong foods, or your calories aren't actually low enough. Whatever the case may be, this routine was producing results, and now it is no longer. So that would mean that something needs to change there. If the routine was never producing results, it may have just been the wrong routine for you, or you weren't as consistent as you thought you were. So that's why this is not the same thing as the program just not working. The program did already work. We know it did. Now we need to figure out why it is no longer. So we know that we just need to adjust some variable, and we don't need to shift to an entirely new program. So a plateau is not the same thing as a program not working. We know that the program works. There just has to be a reason that our bodies have adapted, and a variable that needs to change. Whether that be, Sometimes we're just not actually being as consistent as we think. There are a lot of factors that go into adaptations, from strength, muscle, body weight, all these different things. So we need to figure out if it is the case that we're actually just not being consistent in every single one of these variables. Do we have everything under control to say that we are truly plateaued, or are there just some things we need to maybe add or hone in on? Or is it truly the case that it is just time to give the body new stimulus to force it to adapt to something different because it has fully adapted? But if we don't know all of the variables and we're not keeping track of all the variables, it's impossible to manage. What gets measured gets managed. So we need to make sure that we are measuring and considering everything. So, what are all of those variables? So, it's going to vary goal to goal, but in any fitness journey, whether it's physique, strength, fat loss, whatever our goal is, we have a bunch of different things that are going to contribute in some way that we need to make sure are being measured, being managed, and that we are being consistent with, and that we understand how they affect what we're doing so that we can make these adjustments when our progress possibly stalls, or if we fall off on one of these tasks, we need to know what it is, why, and how to get it back to make sure that we get back on track. So we're going to start out with your training program. I think exercise personally is the number one thing that everyone should be doing regardless of your goal. I think for general health, there is nothing you can do that is better than exercise. So we're always going to kind of start with the training program. I know a lot of people like to jump right to nutrition, but I want to focus on training first. So when we're considering our training program, what variables do we need to control for? Now, this is whether we're doing strength training, endurance-based training, any of it. It is, first of all, how much volume are we doing? If your goal is strength, how much volume on the lifts that you want to get stronger at are you doing? For muscle, how much volume are you doing per muscle group that you want to grow? If it's endurance, how much running are you doing? How much volume of exercise are you actually doing? What are your rep ranges, intensities, the loads being used? After we consider just how much are we doing, how hard are we going, how heavy are we lifting, all those different things. Endurance based, what is the intensity that you're going at? What are the intervals that you're using? So at what intensity is the cardio, and do we need to adjust, that in some way? How much daily activity are you getting outside of that training program? So this is going to affect, one, your cardio, your metabolic, calorie burn sort of deal, and also it's going to affect your recovery. If your daily activity is super, super high, like you work a job where you are on your feet a lot, some sort of manual labor where you're doing a lot of physical activity at your job, maybe your recovery might suffer. We might need to look at what you're doing in the gym to match that. Or if you're being very, very sedentary and you're not getting where you want to go, maybe it's too little. So we can almost up the volume in the gym, or whatever the case may be. But we need to look at that training program. It needs to be well thought out, well planned out, and tracked accordingly. Now, step 2 is going to always be nutrition. So what is our caloric intake? What is our goal? What's our calorie intake? What is that doing for us? When is the last time that calorie intake has been, calculated, adjusted, everything like that? How long have we been at that caloric intake, and what is it doing for us? How much protein are we eating? Does that need to go up or down? What do our carbs look like? How many carbs are we getting? If we're not performing as well in the gym or growing as much, maybe we need more carbs. Maybe